Did you know that Dark Age of Camelot is still active and running and is one of the most impressive MMOs there are out there right now? This game is extremely active and these are the most recent patch updates. So it looks like there is going to be another update to how Zerg fights will work. So players can now only be affected by one static tempest at the same time. This was a really big serious issue with Zerg v Zerg fighting. If you are in a tower or a very close area within the castle, if you have multiple static tempests on you and they were both affecting you, you literally could not move your character at some points in time. Also in tower defense, it's a lot easier to defend and also a lot easier to take when not multiple things are stunning you over and over. Now you can only lay down one static tempest and the other ones will not affect other players. So you definitely got to use it and coordinate it correctly with your Zerg. So this is a really good change. Also, avoidance of magic will end at 20% again at level 9. We noticed throughout even the beta, we've had a lot of changes from the HP changes to the AF changes, just trying to get magic damage and melee damage kind of in line. The windows to kill is like maybe 3 seconds, so they're outliving that window to kill, even though they're out of position. So they're definitely lowering it down to 20%. I can understand where this move is coming from. We see a lot of Hib tankers right now and are really crazy. Mid tankers, also even ALB tankers. Everyone's really going with the tanker route purely because why run squishy casters when you could just run into them with melee and kill them? Also, Hib mana baseline nuke costs have been reduced to suppression baseline nuke levels. Hib casters are in a really bad spot right now. They're struggling to get kills, but also struggling to maintain power. So this is really good change for them. It brings them down to 30 per nuke for that mana nuke. So that's really good. It'll definitely give them more power. And that's something that they definitely needed in the AV8 situations. ALB matter baseline nuke costs has been reduced to suppression baseline nuke levels. So that also means that they are getting 30 power per nuke or using 30 power per nuke. ALB matter baseline nuke is not really used at all, so it's kind of like a fake buff where yeah, hey, we buffed Hib and we also buffed ALB, see, but really no one really used the ALB matter baseline nukes. But now that it is reduced, there is some certain comps you could run with the ALB matter train. If you really wanted to try that, matter baseline nuke costs won't really affect too much in the AV8 scene. I don't think it'll matter too much also in a Zerg or small man, but it is a change and for the better for ALB matter baseline. Casted resist debuff values have been changed. So these are the changes for each specific realm. Albion, heat, matter, cold, spirit, energy, all those debuffs are 50%, but the body debuff is 40%. And I think the main thing for this is body train has been super strong since launch. And 5 body casters have been a thing that will definitely shred any other 8v8 group. A lot of the changes seem to be coming from the mindset of casters are just doing too much damage on that body train. And ALB casters have so much utility and pets that they're able to run 5 caster, 4 caster, and it still be somewhat okay. So they're reducing that just to relieve the pressure off the Hib and the mid groups. Mid guard, heat, matter, energy will be 50%, but their cold, spirit, body will be 45%. Mid casters have struggled a little bit, but with this little boost, this should help out the spirit nukes. The one thing that a lot of people have noticed with spirit nukes is there's just not enough damage to kill people, but the dark and cold train seems to do very well. This will bring the spirit train up with the cold train. And Hibernia will be moving to 50% for all debuffs. We shall see how all these changes affect the AV8 scene and affect Zerging also. Overall, I think it's a pretty good change. The only negative I could really see is ALB is really not getting much from it. They get the ALB matter baseline nuke cost reduced. But main thing for ALBs that a lot of people might disagree with me on is ALB is already a pretty strong realm. I think the goal is to bring Midgard and Hibernia up to ALB's level, and I think they're probably going to make more changes kind of like this in the future. Friar side style snare has been reduced from 27 seconds to 19 seconds. This is pretty significant for Albion. One of the major things that Friars had was that 27-second snare. You could snare someone and leave them out of the fight. So bringing it back in line to the 19 seconds, I respect it. I can understand where that change is coming from. I don't think anyone should have more than 20-second snares, and they don't have much recourse about it. Once you get 27-second snared, you're pretty much out of the fight for a significant portion where the outcasters then could nuke you down. By bringing it down to 19 seconds, I believe you actually have to question whether you want to keep on snaring this target for 19 seconds or 15 seconds, or do you want to just root that target and leave it alone and hopefully get that critical time to do damage and kill something. The snare should be in line where you should decide, should I keep snaring this person or should I root? Celtic Spear side opener now has 19-second snare. This is amazing for heroes. With the Celtic Spear getting a 19-second side snare, I would see 100% of the heroes now go Celtic Spear. Since they have a back snare and a side snare now, they are equivalent to a warrior having the back snare and side snare. And large weapon side opener now has a 15-second snare instead of a bleed effect. That's really amazing for the HIB tankers in general that were using large weapon or Celtic Spear as a significant boon, especially the champion. Since they only had a frontal snare, them getting a side snare will definitely help in the peeling aspects of things. So now we move on to some of the caster changes. These are pretty significant. These will change specs for multiple different classes. There are 5 major classes that have been significantly changed with the resist. Wizards, the triple resist buff is now at 26, 36, 45 Earth. Rune Master, the triple resist debuff is down at 25, 36, 45 Rune Carving. Eldritch, the triple resist debuff is down at 25, 36, 45 Void. And the Mentalist, the triple resist debuff is down at 25, 36, and 45 Mentalism. The triple resist debuff is down at 25, 36, and 45. But something really special that is new to Hibernia, which is experimental, but it's currently implemented in the game. Enchanters have a new group buff at 10, 21, 31, and 41 enchanting spec that gives an offensive melee proc with a 10% proc chance to return 1% to 4% mana to all group members in 2k range. Enchanters have been struggling for a while. The only thing they can do in group right now is debuff nuke. They don't have any sort of CC, which is a struggle for the Hibernia group. Personally, I would like to see root on Enchanter minimum, just so they can help out with the CC. Eld, Enchanter, and Mentalist are now getting Dex and Strength single debuffs within the light line and also within the mana baseline. They're trying to improve on the HIB caster groups. Gonna need a little bit more than just the debuffs, but this is definitely a step in the right direction for Hibernia casters. They have struggled for long enough, and hopefully these will bring them in line with other casters and they can be competitive. Hibernia casters will see the light of day. We'll see a lot more in 8v8, and their resists are 50% now, so they'll definitely do a lot more damage, so I will definitely watch for them. So these are all the main changes that have recently happened on Phoenix Freeshard. The only problem I can see with this is Albion is not really getting a significant buff. Albion is very strong, but Albion players themselves feel the world is kind of coming down on them where they need to change or they need to be nerfed, and it's very taxing to constantly have other realms be buffed and your realm kind of stay the same. Melee snares are amazing. I believe these changes will definitely bring the roots and the snares in line. I believe no one should have over 20 seconds of snares, so I think this is an awesome change. Celtic Spear and large weapon getting positional snares. This will definitely improve the HIB tankers. I'm not sure if they needed to be significantly improved, but that does bring them in line with mercenaries. I believe mercenaries have the back snare and the side snare now, so they are really insane in any group. And they've definitely been showing their hand on the 8v8 field. Overall, I think the Phoenix devs are doing a very good job. I think their commitment to making changes, even though this game is really old, is really awesome. And that commitment is reflected in the population that has been steady for over a year now. If you have not tried Phoenix Freeshard yet, I will leave that link in the description below. Make sure you guys like and follow if you like the content. And I will make sure to do more of these more frequently so you guys are up to date on what's going on Phoenix. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.